get underway for round 2 of the 1989 season. John Nielsen on pole position with his teammate alongside once again as we wait for the lights. And off we go for round 2 as Nielsen gets a bad start and teammate Jan Lammers goes through. Jan Lammers, the leader of the championship right now, and behind we see Ayrton Senna and Emerson Fittipaldi duking it out, and then in 5th comes Mauricio Gugelmin with Michael Andretti behind them. Then comes Prost, then comes Alan Sir Jr., then Roberto Moreno, Ross Cheever, Nelson Piquet, Riccardo Patrese, and they all get through that first sector pretty well as Lammers is looking to open up perhaps a little bit of a gap, and Fittipaldi now in 3rd for Ferrari. So a good start for both of the Ferraris and the Lotus of Ayrton Senna. And then Michael Andretti as well in the Tyrrell, really good start. And has his teammate not too far behind him. So both of the Tyrrells going really well. And then Roberto Moreno just outside the points in that second Lotus car. And then comes Ross Cheever. Okay, a lot of moves happening then into Variante Alta. Oh, and there's a crash. There's a Williams that spun out, I think, or got hit by someone. Caused a bit of a pile-up. Bit of an overzealous move by someone, but they get on their way once again. So that demotes Jeff Lees to the back of the grid, and a bunch of the other cars as well. Has Mika Hakkinen. Oh, they're actually Nakajima going on the attack on his teammate so early on in the race. So not sure if that is a good idea at this point in time, because they're losing touch now to that other to the other part of the group. As we see in front there, Bobby Rahal also split up a little bit, and Nelson Piquet in 11th. He's also trying to make up some positions. But let's head back a bit towards the front here. So we now do see Michael Andretti still fending off Alain Prost behind him. Further up, Mauricio Gugelmin. We have a bit of a gap to Ayrton Senna. I think I saw a bit of a lock up there from one of the Zakspeeds, but Zakspeed again in a 1-2 position. And of course we know John Nielsen was leading the race last time around. Now in 2nd place behind his teammate. But Nielsen unfortunately dropped out with some sort of engine issue. Let's see now how he gets on this race. Can he redeem himself, or will his teammate get the better of him once again? Fastest lap there for Jan Lammers of 132.460. And his teammate so far not beating that. Again, a 2-stop expected this race. So Lammers doing well. See now Fittipaldi. He's trying to claw onto the back of that Zakspeed, but it seems that car's just a tiny bit too fast. And let's now see Michael Andretti still holding perfectly fine. Alan Sir Jr. not too far behind, and Roberto Moreno has Ross Cheever hot on his heels. So Ross Cheever in the minority. He's well, supposed to be the leader of the team, of course, and got unfortunate with his last lap retirement in the first round as Moreno locks up there a little bit, and that's going to give an opportunity here to Ross Cheever as he pulls onto the outside before they head to Rivazza. Let's see, can he do something? Not quite, as Nelson Piquet now joins up with that group, and then behind him Riccardo Patrese and Bobby Rahal not too far. Another fastest lap by Lammers, now in the 31s. Actually, not too far off of the qualifying pace. But, see now, Ross Cheever, he's looking for a way through, but Roberto Moreno holding on. And you can see now, slowly but surely, there's a little bit of a train starting to form behind Roberto Moreno. And now actually Nelson Piquet was thinking about a little move up the inside of Ross Cheever. But nothing so far. And seems like Nelson Piquet is determined once again to make up positions during the race. As he's right onto the back of Ross Cheever, he pulls to the inside. No, only shows his nose there. Cheever holds on. And Piquet actually loses a bit of time in that. And now you can see the rest of these drivers lining up. Riccardo Patrese, then Bobby Rahal, then Satoru Nakajima. So they've fully closed up again. Of course, we had some disconnect with the Williams and, well, some other cars being in that weird incident there at Variante Alte. We didn't quite catch what happened. But Martin Brundle now in 20th, trying to get past Pierluigi Martini. See now if he finds an opening here somewhere. They head to the chicane. No, Pierluigi Martini covers that off. Now they head up down the start-finish straight and up to Traguardo and then Tamburello. Let's see, moves to the inside here. Brundle tries something, no, but Pierluigi Martini closes that door. So he will try to have to set up that move once again. And here comes Yannick Dalmas now. Dalmas going for a move, but Brundle does well to fend him off and actually runs wide a bit. And holds up Dalmas, but also his teammate. So yeah, not that great right now for the Williamses. They were actually in, I believe, P14 and 15 in qualifying, or 15 and 16. So they were right in there, but obviously that incident happened, and now that means they're a bit disconnected from the pack, and Jan Lammers is steadily building up his gap. He's already 3 seconds ahead of his teammate, and about 4.5 seconds ahead of Emerson Fittipaldi. So once again, Zakspeed looking really, really strong. And then Ayrton Senna in 4th place. He's created a little bit of a gap to Mauricio Gugelmin behind, about a second between the two. And I'm sure Senna is looking to redeem himself. Of course, DNF'd, and so did his teammate last race. And, well, we can only hope that it's not a repeat of last year, where Lotus had some serious issues in the reliability department. So yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen again for Senna and Marino here this year. Michael Andretti actually keeping the pace up, keeping some good distance from Alain Prost behind. And then comes his teammate, almost an equal distance behind Prost. And then Ross Cheever, who's actually slowly dropping back, I think it is. Oh, and something's happening at the front. Jan Lammers with an issue, and he's holding up his teammate now. So Jan Lammers with an engine issue. So it seems the curse has struck Lammers now instead of Nielsen, and that will be another early retirement for Zakspeed. So so far Zakspeed fast, but seems like their cars are pretty fragile. So that is one car out of the race here, unfortunately, Jan Lammers. So the leader of the Driver World Championship out of the race, and that means John Nielsen inherits the lead. Emerson Fittipaldi up into second place. Then comes Ayrton Senna for Lotus, who's actually seems to be slowly creeping up to the back of Emerson Fittipaldi. Means that Michael Andretti is in 5th and Prost now in 6th place. Let's keep an eye here on Senna as he tries to close up to the back of Fittipaldi. And nothing so far for him, so let's take a bit of a look further back. Marino still running in 8th, just inside the points. And Nelson Piquet actually dropped back a little bit there from Ross Cheever, so not quite sure what happened, but he's trying to make his way back up to Ross Cheever. And let's take a look at the lap times here. So Piquet 33.2 up at the front. Well, we're all running pretty similar lap times here, with John Nielsen the only car in the 32s, most of the grid in the 33s, and all pretty similar 33 1s, 33 3s, 33 5. So yeah, there's not much to split up this field here today, and obviously we'll have to see now how strategy comes into play. That will be a really important one, as we're on lap 8, so I do expect the first pit stops to maybe come around lap 20 or so, and that's when we really start to see how each team sees the strategy in front of them and how they're going to utilize it to get the best out of this race. And so far, PK still slowly but surely trying to make his way up to the back of Ross Cheever. And let's again look at a bit further back, as we now have Herbert, who's under attack, it seems, by Bobby Rahal. Or not Bobby Rahal, Teo Fabi, I'm sorry. Fabi here now. Is he gonna try something? He does have the slipstream. Does he get enough slipstream pulls to the inside? Ooh, and Herbert actually with a mistake. So he is really being pressured here by the BMW Fabi. It does seem like Fabi has quite a bit more pace, but it's just finding that way around. Imola, very, very tight track. It's fast, but yeah, not a lot of good overtaking spots. And so far, Fabi not managing. But he's right onto the back. Look at that. He's showed his nose there going into Aqua Minerale, and that is actually a mistake from Johnny Herbert, and Teo Fabi goes through. So the pressure really getting to Johnny Herbert, the rookie here for Benetton. He's struggling now, and oh, is he perhaps stuck in the gravel here? It kind of looks like it. So we know those gravel pits here at Imola are pretty tough. Oh, actually, he gets it going again. But yeah, the gravel pit is on a bit of an uphill stretch, so not the best place to get stuck there, but Herbert gets it going. But yeah, the rookie completely out of the race now, and he'll do well to recover to even a top 15, I think. So it does mean Teo Fabi is now unleashed, and he can start hunting down Eddie Lawson in front of him. That is good to see. In the meanwhile, I'm just seeing if there's any other battles that are brewing. Kind of wanted to keep an eye on Jeff Lees and Brundle if they manage to get somewhere, but so far doesn't seem like it. Meanwhile, John Nielsen 10 laps in, 3.3 seconds ahead of Fittipaldi, so not too much between Fittipaldi and Nielsen. It's definitely within reach for Fittipaldi, so if the strategy is alright here for Ferrari, they could possibly challenge that Zakspeed. And we do have, well, 3 drivers in the hunt for the win here, being Nielsen, Fittipaldi, and Senna. All 3 from different constructors. And, yeah, we'll see how that pans out. Prost now running into the points, and again, McLaren seems to be struggling here. Prost seems to be doing well dragging that car up if you look at Yannick Dalmas there in 19th. But yeah, Prost really trying to drive his heart out, and so far it's not really panning out for him. Obviously he had that retirement in the first race, and he actually looks pretty competitive. Of course, he didn't have the all-in-out pace to win the race, but he was definitely in that top 5 and even looking at a podium before that retirement. But yeah, tough year it seems for McLaren so far. And I'm sure they'll try to bring upgrades to the table to rectify that issue. But yeah, so far not a great start to the season. I'll tell you who is having a great start to the season. It is Michael Andretti and Alonso Jr. Alonso Jr. did DNF last race, but both of them showing good pace here once again at Imola. Andretti running in a nice 5th here, and Alonso running in 7th. Yeah, the Tyrrell looking really competitive, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're fighting for best of the rests this year. They really look to be in a strong position, and so far they're showing it as well. So as long as their car can hold up till the end, they have a good shot of scoring some points, it seems. Now a bit further back, everyone is kind of running at their own pace now. No one really showing completely dominant pace over any of the other drivers. And let's actually get a little bit of an update to Theo Fabi. Let's see what times he's running after getting freed there from Pierluigi Martini. So too much faster. I-33, 33.7 or so. Not quite in the mix compared to his teammate, who's about 6/10 faster. At least last lap. Then Riccardo Patrese in the Ligier. Yeah, Ligier just doesn't quite seem to have the pace here today. P11 now for Patrese. And of course his teammate Mika Hakkinen finishing in 4th last race. Which evidently puts Ligier in 4th as well. Which is, I think, the position they just missed out on last year. 4th or 5th they were. But a very nice livery, I think, for that car. And oh, to add insult to injury, Johnny Herbert now with some sort of issue is pulling into the pits. So, let's see. Ooh, that's a terrible camera. Let's see here. Yeah, some sort of electrical issue we are hearing. And, is bolting on a fresh set of tires there. 6.9 seconds. He heads out again, but, yeah, Johnny Herbert just... If he wasn't out of the race already, then now he certainly is. As, you can already see there. John Nielsen coming onto the start-finish straight, and I think Herbert is not too far ahead. So Senna still trying to chase down Gugelmin, or Emerson Fittipaldi, I'm sorry. Yeah, and actually surprisingly, everyone's kind of spread out. I thought the slipstream would be more effective here today, but a lot of the cars just spread out a bit. No one can quite muster that little bit of pace to get past the driver in front of them. Alonso Jr. doing a good job. He was happy to return to Tyrrell for another year, as they did show promise last year. They had some flashes where they seemed competitive, but now it's definitely a strong opening 2 races for them. And they, yeah, like I said, they could be the big surprise here this season, along with the likes of Zakspeed, probably. You know, Zakspeed was, well, very unexpected. Of course, they did seal that deal with Honda, and that is, well, a big factor, obviously. Honda, I think we can say this, the leading power manufacturer, the leading engine manufacturer here in F1. And, well, Tyrrell not too far off with their Renault package. Does kind of seem that Marino is making up some time, but I'm not quite sure. Slowly but surely, I think we do have Martin Brundle catching up to the back of Pierluigi Martini. We look now at Yannick Dalmas, who's, well, driving around in a lowly P19 while his teammate is in 6th, and many seem to already, after the first race started, to ask some questions. Dalmas did finish in 6th, but it wasn't because of blistering pace. It was purely because of retirements from other cars. And well, many questioning if Dalmas was the right choice for McLaren for that 2nd seat, because as you can see, doesn't seem to be quite up to pace. And well, for such a reputable team, and obviously hosting the driver champion in Prost, you'd expect a bit of a more competitive teammate than Dalmas, but we'll see what he can bring throughout the season. Maybe if he brings some consistency, that could also be a big contributor to some point scoring. But pace-wise, he does seem to be a little bit off the mark. And then Jeff Lee's also not really showing that pace, I think. Seems that just that first race with the Williams seemed better suited to Jacarapagua. And here with these long straights in Imola and not too many high-speed corners, I guess. The Williams not faring too well. Of course, they have that BMW engine, and that seems to be at the moment limiting them a bit when it comes to well, just putting the power down on those straightaways. They just can't make up enough time to challenge here. So that's what you're seeing with Jeff Lees here. And Brundle now is getting closer, ever closer to Pierluigi Martini. We also get some reports that perhaps there could be some rain during the race at some point. But right now, I think skies are still looking pretty blue. Not too many signs of it, but there is that possibility here today, which would really toss up the race. Brundle now, yeah, about let's see, 7/10 behind Pierluigi Martini, and you can pick up the slipstream, then maybe that could be moved on. And we'll keep an eye on that, but something I do also want to keep an eye on is Alain Prost here, as he's getting, well, I'm not sure if he's getting closer to Michael Andretti, but it seems like he's not losing any time either, so we will have to see how that one pans out. Let's further back here, Alan Sir Jr. still holding on to that 7th position, with Roberto Moreno trying to gain on him. And I'm sure we will start to see some pits fairly soon, and that's when it will start to get interesting, as you'll see all the strategy coming into play. Ross Cheever still looking at Nelson Piquet behind him in his rearview mirror. Piquet not quite enough pace to catch up, and let's once again look at some of the lap times. So Cheever with a 21.7 and Piquet with 21.8, so actually a bit slower. Or hold on, no, that's not right. There we go. So yeah, really close between the two, 33.280 and 33.250. So 300 separating the two, and Piquet again just shy of a 10th faster that lap. So there isn't much between the two, and that whole midfield is actually really close pace-wise, as everyone is now starting to dip into the 32s, and even Fittipaldi starting to match John Nielsen on some of his laps. So the pit calls coming in now, and I think John Nielsen will be the first to actually enter the pit, so he's going for an undercut, and here is an issue for Ayrton Senna, and he's gonna once again an issue for Ayrton Senna in the Lotus, and some issue with his wheel. I think we see there might be a wheel loose there through some sort of, maybe using the curbs a little bit too much or whatever it might be, but Ayrton Senna will be out of the race once again, and that's 0 out of 2 for now. So it will be Moreno who will try to have to carry Lotus forward in this race, and so PK in the pits, and John Nielsen came out in 5th place. And actually we can see now that Fittipaldi is going to respond. He also had an issue, and here comes Eddie Lawson now. He has some issues with his brakes, but the good thing being he is inside his pit window, so that should be a minimal time loss for Lawson, and a really fast pit stop actually by the Eurobrun squad. 5 seconds is very well done. And Moss also with McLaren, 5.4, 5.3 for Jeff Lees. And we'll see here as Fittipaldi now comes through Rivazza, turn 15, and then at Variante Bassa coming up here, he will pull into the pits. Yes, he will, and let's now see if this has made a big difference for John Nielsen, who has obviously put some fresh tires on. So up goes the Jacks. Gugelmin also getting a pit call now as Nielsen now comes on to the start-finish straight, and here's Fittipaldi. Actually, not too far behind. Fittipaldi seemingly gaining some time there on John Nielsen. I think Nielsen was 3.5 or so seconds ahead whenever he pitted, and I don't think that gap has stayed the same size. But yeah, good strategy there by the Ferrari squad, and good pit stop also. Probably gained a little bit in that. Brundle now in the pits as well for Williams. He is possibly looking to undercut Pierluigi Martini. Fast stop as well for the Williams squad, 5.1 seconds. And Fittipaldi now trying his best to get onto the back of John Nielsen, as Gugelmin now comes into the pits. And a bit of a slower pit stop for him, 5.9 seconds. Nielsen now putting in the fastest lap with a 31.6, so I think that was nearly a second faster than what they were running before the pit stop. Obviously, those fresh tires will be the main contributor in that, as Nakajima comes into the pits, so does Hakkinen. It's actually a bit back now. Oh, there's I think Hakkinen got held up there a bit. As Martini now comes in, and you want to see if Martin Brundle will successfully undercut Martini. Bit of a slow stop by Minardi, so I think Martin Brundle will pull off the undercut. And yes, he does. So good strategy there by Williams to get Brundle past Martini. And that means Brundle has a nice open track ahead of him, and he doesn't have to worry. I think he's pretty set and probably faster than Martini behind. And now Dalmas also harassing Martini. And oh, actually, oh, never mind. I was gonna say there was a change for the lead there, but Michael Andretti has yet to pit. So Nielsen now catching up to the back of Andretti. And of course, this is for position, so Andretti is, well, free to fight for it. And We'll see now how he manages, but Emerson Fittipaldi not too far behind, 1.8 seconds. And it's a case of if Fittipaldi does manage to get inside that slipstream, he does have a good chance of catching Nielsen. But they now come up to Michael Andretti, and it doesn't seem like Andretti is ready to stop just yet, so he will keep going. And Nielsen might be compromised here. But Michael Andretti actually keeping up the pace pretty well, considering the age of his tires. And, so far, still no pit call for Michael Andretti. Fastest lap now for Gugelmin actually. So Gugelmin putting in some good pace. And well, only 2 retirements so far as Nielsen tries a move there for yeah, so Michael Andretti running wide there ran into the gravel and actually, with rejoining on the track, hindered Fittipaldi, which now created a gap between Fittipaldi and Nielsen, who are, well, Nielsen the net race leader. Michael Andretti was of course leading this race, but he still definitely has to make a pit stop. But he's going for a massive overcut, it seems. And yeah, now he's just holding up Fittipaldi, and even Gugelmin is now coming close. So Ferrari team boss Machihila will probably be not too happy with the maneuvers pulled there by Domi's driver. Andretti still holding on here, and you would have to think he comes into the pit now one of these laps. Seems pretty happy just continuing the way he is. And I'll leave you now with some of the TV cameras, with some of the action as Nakajima pulls a move on Teo Fabio, or tries to at least. But I'm gonna give my voice a moment to rest, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes here. Enjoy. And as we come back now, Mika Hakkinen in a fight with Teo Fabi. He backs out of it as they head into Traguardo and Tamburello. And now maybe a good run here for the rookie as he pulls to the inside. And yes, Mika Hakkinen does go through with a slight lockup there for Fabi, and actually a bit more of a mistake as Lawson nearly runs into the back of him. And now Mika Hakkinen goes through. In the meanwhile, I think Alonso Jr. dropped back a bit with Nelson PK now up into 8th. He's slowly but surely making up time. Roberto Moreno still in 7th. Prost in 6th behind Bobby Rahal. And there's actually a couple of cars here that have elected to not make a pit stop just yet. The 2 BMWs and then Michael Andretti, who's well, currently still running in 2nd, and seems like Emerson Fittipaldi is having a really tough time trying to get past. And well, unless you have some big horsepower advantage, it is really hard to make moves here at Imola. As Fittipaldi shows his nose there to Michael Andretti, but he chooses to keep going. And now actually Teo Fabi with a pit call. So soon Rahal and Michael Andretti will be pitting one of these laps, but the Ferraris are now both losing time hand over fist compared to John Nielsen. John Nielsen now 15 seconds ahead, but it is quite baffling that both of these Ferraris haven't found a way past the Tyrrell. And well, I don't know what the plan is for Michael Andretti, but it's working. It is working. He is staying ahead of his competition, and he's, well, actually slowly but surely bunching up the field behind him. As you can see there in the background. And now Fittipaldi, does he have enough overspeed? Still not. And Mauricio Gugelmin now goes for the move on his teammate. And now we can see the pit calls coming in from Michael Andretti and also Teo Fabi. And Bobby Rahal still doesn't have a pit call, but Michael Andretti is really trying to hold up the Ferraris here. And once again, I think Team Boss Hila, he won't be happy with this. And yeah, the question being, why is Andretti doing this? Is it some elaborate tactic for his teammate Al Unser to make up some positions? We will see now, but he won't hold up the competition long enough to be pushed back into the positions there outside of E4. Oh, actually a bit of a mistake there from Fittipaldi. Seems like he got his braking slightly wrong, or Gugelmin I should say, I'm sorry. And now the Ferrari is going head to head, and it might get spicy here between the two. They're very matched on pace. Gugelmin, well, I want to say young, he's not that young anymore, but Gugelmin definitely the young driver of the two. And Fittipaldi being the absolute veteran that he is, as they now battle away. And let's see now, does Fittipaldi try anything? No. Yes, maybe. Oh, and Gugelmin a bit shaky there as they go into the braking. I think he expected Fittipaldi to make a move, but come on guys, 2nd and 3rd, just consolidate, try to get those points. And let's see now, where has that pit stop, that very late pit stop, put Michael Andretti? So Michael Andretti now in 11th, so dropped all the way down, but it should mean that he has a really big pace advantage. So perhaps he will be able to make up some positions easier than the other cars. So let's actually keep an eye on him and let's see what kind of lap times he does in the next few laps here, because I expect they'll be much faster than the competition. And well, it's an interesting strategy. So I imagine, well, he could go until the end, I guess, if he went 30 laps on that one set. But yeah, the question being, will he actually go for that one stop, or is he also on a 2-stop strategy where just the middle stint is much shorter than the competition? But he's already closing up massively to the back of Ricardo Patrese. And we'll see about that as Martin Brundle now with a big lockup. So Brundle did manage to work his way up into 15th. But he's certainly not getting any closer to Eddie Lawson now that he made that mistake. Not doing a bad job so far. Of course, Jeff Lee scoring that 1 point last time around, as John Nielsen still leading here, as he's now lapped Johnny Herbert. So Herbert, even though he had his misfortunes, still running in the race, hoping for those retirements from the other teams. As Nelson Piquet now is in P7, so he's I think he qualified P11, and he's slowly but surely making up positions like we saw last race. So the qualifying performance not quite there for the Benetton, but during the race it seems that car is coming good. And of course a bit of misfortune for Johnny Herbert with this mistake that puts him right at the back of the field. And again, I'm very surprised by the amount of retirees so far. So only 2 so far. So yeah, the car's holding up pretty well here. Obviously, we're only just over the halfway mark, so plenty of times for things to go wrong still. And as I say that, it is going a bit bad here for Pierluigi Martini, but he is very close to the pit, so I think Martini will be able to pull in. Yes, he does. So after his initial pit stop, the mechanics must have not tightened that one of the wheels up properly, because he's gonna come in and they'll put a fresh set on now. They'll take those off. And well, now actually Bobby Rahal is also going to come into the pit, so again, will be interesting to see. You'd imagine that Rahal can go until the end then, once he makes his pit stop, and some of the other guys will still have to make a pit stop. So very interesting strategies coming out here by Rahal, Fabi, and Michael Andretti. And let's now actually take a look here at the last lap times, and well, keep a close eye here on Michael Andretti, as he's lapping about a second faster, and even two or 3 seconds faster than some of the cars ahead of him. So he's putting in pace right now, Michael Andretti. That is very close to the top runners, and actually, well, right on par with them. So yeah, Andretti coming up to this big train now ahead of him. And well, the big question being, of course, can Andretti fight his way back through? Because we've already seen overtaking is hard, and Andretti has a lot of hard work ahead of him that will stay on him for just a bit. And yeah, he's really pushing hard now. And come this lap, he'll be right onto the back of Patrese. The only factor that could limit the potential here for Andretti is that Patrese, I'm pretty sure, also has some slipstream from Ross Cheever ahead of him. But we'll see how that plays out. Michael Andretti should be a lot faster in the corners with those fresher tires. And we can see now how much he's closing up. He carries so much extra speed. And Ross Cheever now showing his nose to Al Unser Jr. in 7th. So Unser Jr. still running in the points, but not comfortably. It's he's one mistake away from being outside of those points. But he's holding on well. He's keeping his composure. Let's now go on board for a second with Michael Andretti. So Michael Andretti really trying here, as actually Bobby Rahal puts in the fastest lap. So that's very interesting. So Rahal, of course, the last being coming into the pits. But yeah, I do believe these guys are on a one stop. And that could work out very much in favor for them. And Andretti now fully putting the pressure on Patrese. As they keep going, but yeah, Andretti not quite finding a way past, but he has managed to somewhat disconnect Patrese from the back of Ross Cheever, which could work in his favor. But yeah, Andretti just starting to lose a little bit too much time here, I think. And to make that one stop work, he'll have to make up a bit more time, because obviously in that second stint, for the cars in front of him, they'll be much faster than him, but he should have a nice clean track in front of him once these guys do start pitting for their second stop. Let's see now, does Al Unser Jr. have anything in store here? No, not quite close enough. And then Rahal, of course, hunting down Satoru Nakajima. He'll be trying to get past there. Martin Brundle still in 15th place, trying to catch up to the back of Eddie Lawson. And yeah, Williams not faring too well here so far. Obviously, last race they had to rely on retirements of the other teams to actually score that point, but in general, in preseason testing and just over the course of last race, they did look to be fairly you know, their pace seemed to be quite all right in that midfield battle. So is a bit surprising seeing them struggle here at Imola, but again, that BMW package also not yet maybe that optimized, as actually now some of the pit calls coming in for that second pit stop for a lot of teams here, and Gugelmin now actually has gotten past Fittipaldi and well, is now starting to eke out a little bit of a gap, as you can see here. And Rahal now tries up the inside for with Nakajima, but doesn't quite manage it. And now we have Michael Andretti once again pounding the back of Patrese in the Ligier as they head down in Acqua Minerale. And then up to Variante Alta, the chicane. But yeah, once these cars ahead of Michael Andretti start coming in, that's when he'll try to take advantage. And Alonso Jr. actually is one of those. And well, from what I can tell, I think Michael Andretti, once all of these cars start pitting ahead of him, he will probably end up in 4th place, in a net 4th position, and obviously he'll have a lot of drivers hunting him down, but he will have a very sizable gap. And now his teammate Alonso Jr. has come into the pits and came out in 12th position. And Mauricio Gugelmin will come in this lap as well, together with race leader John Nielsen. Oh, and Nakajima with a mistake, which allows Bobby Rahal to come through. So Rahal now can finally unleash some of that pace on the fresh tires. And in the background there, Alonso Jr., who just made a stop. John Nielsen actually with a very fast pit stop, so the Zakspeed squad doing a very good job. Let's see here how Gugelmin fares. 4.8. So yeah, the pit stop's getting really fast here during the race. And Fittipaldi still in 2nd, but he'll still have to come in. And now more calls coming in for Roberto Moreno, who's running in 3rd so far, which is really really good for him. And now I do want to keep an eye on Michael Andretti, because with these pits coming in, he's now already up to P7. And I do imagine it could be a case of a lot of these cars behind catching up to him towards the end of the race, but so far doing pretty well. And now the next 2 cars ahead of him will come into the pits. So does Moreno, and then Gugelmin, he has pitted, so that's very beneficial for Andretti. But that does mean everyone that was in front of Andretti on the 2-stop will pit now, and he will have clean track ahead of him. So he should end up in his P4 slot with, say, the other drivers trying to chase him down for that P4. Don't think pace-wise anyone can catch up to the Lotus of Moreno, or well, maybe the Ferraris. The Ferraris were running in 2 and 3, so they were doing really well. And then Moreno with a later 2nd stop here. We'll have to see if he can make his way through the field. There we go, Michael Andretti moving up into 4th for Tyrrell there, so really promising here for Domi and his team. Eddie Lawson still holding off Mika Hakkinen. They seem kind of intertwined into a battle. Eddie Lawson still, yeah, so a bit of a lockup there by Lawson, but he sends it and then comes onto the track to even block off Hakkinen a bit. And he does still stay ahead, but that was a questionable maneuver by Lawson. As Nielsen now setting the fastest lap of 1 minute 30.2. And yeah, Hakkinen once again showing the nose, but that won't amount to much. Another fastest lap now. This time set by Gugelmin. So yeah, Gugelmin showing really good pace as well. But obviously they were stuck behind Michael Andretti, which caused this massive gap between Zakspeed and the rest of the field. But now we can see actually rain coming in, so we did predict that some rain could fall this race, and it has actually come in now on lap 42. Question being now, will it get wet enough to pit to the wet tires, which might throw another spanner into the mix for a lot of these teams, and we'll see how that goes now. So yeah, the first time in the manager here league here that we're getting rain, and we'll see how that affects the drivers if it does. But yeah, rain is now in full effect, but it doesn't quite seem to have affected the track yet, as Nielsen puts in another fastest lap. But we are actually seeing some pit calls coming in, but I do believe those are just for the cars that have yet to pit. As a Gugelmin now pumps in another fastest lap and gets one up on John Nielsen. Time will tell if some of these cars have to pit again. And obviously, let's see if someone like Nakajima does come in for wet tires. So you know, it does still seem like it's soft or slick tires, I mean. So yeah, Nakajima going out on the slick tires. He believes it's not wet enough, so he'll stay on the slicks. More people coming in now, of course. And Michael Andretti still in fourth, 20 laps to go, but let's actually see how the lap times are looking. Last time for Andretti is a 31.3 and Moreno behind him a 30.7. So yeah, starting to slowly lose time. And Fittipaldi now came in for his stop. He's also coming out with dry tires. So he's of the same belief, I guess, that the track is not quite wet enough. So he'll keep that going. And Johnny Herbert, yeah, unfortunate race for him, for the rookie, but he is doing a good job actually, trying to finish the race here today. And obviously he did finish last time around as well, with PK retiring, but so far doing really well. And then you want to take a look here, because there's a bit of a battle going on between Patrese and Ross Cheever. Now on board with Patrese, we can see he's trying to hunt down Ross Cheever, but not sure if he has enough pace to really overcome the minority in front of him. A good bit of slipstream and Ross Cheever going slightly defensive. So let's see now as we come into the last chicane. Can he get a good run onto the straightaway and maybe try something? No, Ross Cheever just getting very good drive out of the slower corners, it seems. So far, no issues, and John Nielsen now 17.5 seconds ahead, so really dominant showing here. Martin Brundle actually onto the back of Teo Fabi. Teo Fabi still on that one stop. And, well, it's working... Well, not really working for Fabi at the moment, but, did work for Michael Andretti, however. Mauricio Gugelmin running in a solid P2, and now at the oh, Fittipaldi actually putting in a fastest lap still, with even with this the sprinkle of rain, the old veteran of the grid here showing what he's capable of, and did actually lose quite a bit of time by staying out a bit longer than his teammate. Once again, Nielsen here doing a good job leading it. Oh, there's an issue here. Alonso Jr. pulling off to the side of the track, and it looks like some sort of transmission issue for him. So just lost the gearbox there probably, and yeah, comes to a standstill. And that's a shame for Tyrrell and Alonso Jr., as that will be his second retirement. And yeah, unfortunately he won't be able to finish the race. And the third retiree, as Teo Fabi is still trying to fend off Martin Brundle behind him. Lap 47 now. The track doesn't seem to be getting quite wet, so I think it's warm enough for the rain to still evaporate, as Fittipaldi now shows. But that's definitely the case when he puts in the first 29 of the session, so that's well, very respectable from the veteran. And once again, I need a small break for my voice, but I'll put the TV camera on, and then you guys can enjoy that while I take a short little break to have my get my voice a little bit of a rest. Be right back. And as we come back now, Michael Andretti seems to be stuck in the gravel pit. He's trying to work his way out, but at the depth of the race here, you can see the track is getting wetter, and Michael Andretti, probably on those older tires, made a little mistake, and unfortunately that means he's dropped back to all the way to P10, and surely that puts him out of any sort of contention for the points here today, because that would have been a very lofty finish there, P5, but with about 13 laps to go, had really squandered a chance there for Tyrrell to score any points here today. So very unfortunate. That doesn't mean that we'll go through the order real quick here if we can find our leader. So John Nielsen, oh, you can actually see now there is certain parts of the track where we can see some spray. You can see it here. So certain parts of the track are getting wet, but you can see now as well that the rain has stopped, so only certain parts of the track are wet, and didn't get wet enough for any other drivers to get onto the wet tire compound, and so they'll keep it going. But we have John Nielsen in first, then we have Mauricio Gugelmin in second for Ferrari, and then comes Emerson Fittipaldi. So Fittipaldi doing a good job also, second and third now for the Ferraris. So they're doing a really good job. As you can see, a little bit of spray kicking up there in that corner as well. And Roberto Moreno in fourth, so he's trying to pick up the pieces for Lotus here today. So that's very, very well done, as Senna was running in third, I think, before he retired. But oh yeah, you can see there more spray on the straightaway. So yeah, definitely some of the parts of the track here are a bit wet, even though the rain does seem to have stopped. But yeah, you can see there. So yeah, certain parts wet, which is well, interesting to see. It doesn't seem to bother the drivers too much, except for Michael Andretti, who we also obviously saw make a little bit of a mistake there, as Prost is now in P5. He's not too far off of Roberto Moreno. But yeah, he's trying to chase down Moreno, and then Bobby Rahal for BMW in sixth. So Rahal finishing fifth in the first race and sixth now. So if he does manage that, because he does have Nelson Piquet fighting for that P5, and well, Benetton also looking to score some good points here with Piquet in seventh. But well, sixth would be one sweeter, wouldn't it? So Piquet will definitely be looking to get past here in the dying stages of this race. 10 laps to go, so plenty of time for Piquet to try and move here or there. And then we have Ross Cheever for Minardi. So Minardi obviously not scoring any points last time around, but it would be a good start here at Imola if they can manage to score a point or two. And then comes Riccardo Patrese. He's not too far behind, but actually we have a bit of an issue here with... Where is he? Sorry for all the skipping. I'm just trying to find him. Jeff Lees. We won't see it now, but you can see that's not only spray coming out of the back of that Williams, it's actually smoke as well. So Jeff Lees has an issue and an engine fire. Even with all that spray kicking up, the engine caught fire there for the Williams of Jeff Lees. And that will be the end of his race. 10 laps to go. Unfortunate for Williams, unfortunate for Jeff Lees. Oh, yellow flag. The marshals are waving. Obviously, they need to take a little bit more care, and even more care with the fact that there's rain in those corners. And as they get onto the dry bit again, going into Rivazza, Prost is still hunting down Roberto Moreno. Johnny Herbert still running in P18, so he's not giving up, which is good to see. See now Jeff Lisa's car being lifted up over the barriers. And meanwhile, well, props to John Nielsen. And well, the way he's going, it'll be a 1-1 score here for Zakspeed. So the teammates really putting the fight to each other, and I think at this rate they'll both be on 10 points. But I think Mauricio Gugelmin, if he finishes here, if he finishes the race, he will actually move up into P1 of the Drivers' Championship, because Jan Lammers has 10 points, John Nielsen is looking to get on that 10 points, but Mauricio Gugelmin with two second positions, he would be in on 16 points, so significantly more points for Gugelmin. And you can see, you know, you don't have to win races to be at the top of that Drivers' Championship, that's for sure. Just a bit of consistency and a bit of luck on the reliability department, and you're right in the fight. As Fittipaldi is now in third. Fittipaldi, of course, retiring last race, so no points for him on the board, but could pick up a nice 3 points here. And now we can see some issue with Yannick Dalmas here in the second McLaren. So some sort of issue. He's reporting that his throttle isn't quite responding as he would like to. You can see he's slowing down now as Emerson Fittipaldi comes up to the back of him, and he has to be careful now, Fittipaldi, because he might not even realize, but they do manage to cleanly maneuver around each other. And there comes, I think that is Ross Cheever as well. No, Pierluigi Martini, sorry. He will overtake Dalmas for 16th. And I do wonder now if Dalmas will be able to nurse this car back to the pits, because it's a big ask, especially in these wet conditions, and obviously dry tires. So we'll see here. He's still going, and is now in the last part of the lap up to Variante Alta. Only a little ways to go. Just has to maneuver himself through Rivazza, 14 and 15, and then he is on the straightaway to the pits. But that means that Johnny Herbert might pick up a spot here towards the end of the race. We'll see now though, because Johnny Herbert is also quite a ways behind. So Dalmas comes in and actually see if we can find Johnny Herbert. He's now coming through Rivazza, so yeah, he might be able to pick up a position. But obviously Dalmas will be a lot faster on those fresh tires he puts on. Yeah, Fittipaldi still running in third. Gugelmin now getting past one of the Euro runs and onto the back of a BMW now. So that's Theo Fabi in front of Gugelmin. Let's see if he cooperates a little bit here, Fabi, with the Ferrari. Obviously, he doesn't really have to, but it would be advisable, of course, as Fittipaldi now comes through Variante Alta. And Gugelmin now pulling alongside, and Theo Fabi doing the smart thing by letting him through. He might be able to pick up a little bit of slipstream, which would help him defend. John Nielsen again going into Sector 1. 6 laps to go for the leader. Eddie Lawson now trying a move, but backs out of it. Tricky conditions to make a move in, that's for sure. Seems like Gugelmin is feeling right at home now and not having too much issues in the rain. He's doing good. I do want to keep an eye on Brundle. Is he anywhere nor close to Mika Hakkinen? It doesn't seem like it. Hakkinen's still about 15 or so seconds ahead, I think. Gugelmin now coming up to the back of one of the Williamses, as Fabi's still clinging on for dear life from Eddie Lawson behind him. And Mauricio Gugelmin now. Oh, and Lawson tries to squeeze it up the inside in the in Variante Bassa. But yeah, not managing. Fabi holding on to 14th. And you'd almost think these guys are fighting for the win the way they're going at it. And this is Gugelmin now catching up to the back of Jeff Lees. At this point, I think Lees should probably just be moving over. Or, sorry, it's Martin Brundle. Jeff Lees is out of the race, of course. So yeah, Martin Brundle should probably be sensible here and just let the Ferrari through. Not hinder any other races. As Eddie Lawson now again showing his nose, but not getting quite enough overspeed, as now that is Emerson Fittipaldi catching up to both of the BMW and the Eurobrun that are in a intense fight. Johnny Herbert still managing so far as Bobby Rahal comes past him. Nelson Piquet now as well. So yeah, as well, Herbert being sensible, letting his teammate through to challenge that BMW in front. But yeah, Piquet, again, it's hard to overtake on this track, and Piquet doesn't seem to have that little bit extra today to challenge Rahal in front of him, but we'll keep an eye on it. And obviously we do have Ross Cheever, who's also being chased down by Patrese for the last point. And of course this year we'd like to remind you that the point scoring system has changed. So instead of the top 6 scoring points, we have gone to the top 8 scoring points. The winner gets 10 points, second place gets 8 points, third place gets 6 points, and then from 4th down to 8th it goes in order of 5 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point. And oh, issues here, issues. So the Lotus is the second Lotus of Roberto Moreno with a transmission issue, which means that once again, second time now, it'll be a double DNF for Lotus. And then Nelson Piquet at the end of the race here, also suffering from some sort of issue. He's going really slow. And yeah, Piquet, oh, he will have to make it back to the pits, but surely he's gonna miss out on the points then. The Brazilian held it out until the end, and 3 laps from the end, he has some sort of issue. He's going slowly, and it looks like he might be able to make it back to the pits, but there is something hindering him, and he'll have to try and get it back to the pits and get it sorted. Oh, and now there's another pit call for Emerson Fittipaldi. What is happening? What happened to Fittipaldi? Do you have an issue somewhere? He damaged the car? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on here.